2, 1, and we're live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Fabulites. This is Angela, and I've got questions for you. Almost. Hold on one second. What opens with Ryan carpentering? What opens with Ryan putting in the work, and what closes with Molly and John feeling like they won. They put in the work and they winning. If you guys Married at First Sight, season 6, episode 10, you're correct. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. Communication is the title, and sticking around to see how we get from opening to closing, or joining us live. I only have 5 pages of notes. It's gonna be quick. I think it's Angela. The channel is Be Fabulous You. It was a good episode. I don't know why I love this show. And then how come they advertising Married at First Flight? Because you know I like to travel, and you know I like love. What could be better? What could be more better? Thank you for clicking on the video, sticking around, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, being here, being you. We're working on 1,000 Fabulites, so you part of the vision, baby. I love it. All right, let's proceed. So we have Ryan. He is carpentering. You know, he's a carpenter, so he doing his thing. We see Shanice, we see Molly and John. We probably saw everybody, but I might have been looking down writing. And then we hear, I think one of the counselors talking about the deep level of communication, you know, is important in marriage and relationships, getting over the fear of being known and knowing, you know, how your spouse sees things and how they're experiencing things. When you're single, it's just about you. But when you're married, you got to look at your spouse's perspective. So we see Ryan, and he mentions that he feels that he's on a tight leash, and he's working on a project with his friend and kind of chatting about the situation that he had with Jackie, the argument or whatever that he had with Jackie. So he and Jackie had plans, it turns out. And then he's with his friends partying, and he checks in at 8:30 to ask if he can stay out a few more hours. And Jackie is like, whatever. A few more hours? That's not the same as I'm going to be 15 minutes later. I'm going to stay here a half hour long. A few more hours, that's the whole time of our activity. I don't understand. So, Jackie is, you know, she's like, I'm going to be asleep. Do whatever you're going to do. You know, you grown. I can't be telling you what to do or what not to do. And I feel like I can't tell you if you don't want to spend time with your wife, what we going to do? I mean, you know, what we going to do? Jackie is at home, and she's on the bed, and she's calling her dad. So both parts of the couple are trying to get some counseling, some perspective. I'm having some issues with my bra, y'all. Sorry. Are my boobies in? They look like they in, but something just don't feel right. So they're both getting counseling from, you know, they people trying to figure out, you know, what to do, how to proceed, you know, how to handle the situation. Why, and I'm trying to figure out why he doesn't want to sleep in the bed with his wife. If he spent 2 days a night, you know, sleeping away, and, you know, he played, you know, I don't know. It just seems, I would figure if somebody don't want to spend time with me, then we probably not a good match, you know, especially if I'm trying to spend time with them. But anyway, and the daddy is like, well, you know, you got, Jackie's daddy is like, you got to figure it out, you know. And then we hear, I hadn't heard this. I heard that he liked to play paintball, but he plays on 2 teams. So his wife feels that that's tantamount to a 3rd job. And the daddy is like, well, you only have another month to go. And Jackie's like, I have another month till the end of the experiment, or till I decide, which I thought were 2 different perspectives. It's like her father is basically like, look, 1 more month and you out. And she's basically like, 1 more month and I'll decide if I'm going to get out or not. I think she has the right attitude. She the one that's married to the man. I don't think the daddy is feeling him. He's like, just, you know, ride it out for the month and then leave, baby girl, leave. So we see Shanice and Jeffy, and they're doing, the fishbowl exercise from the experts. So I guess the experts gave each of the couples these fishbowls with little strips of questions, like little questions. And then periodically they ask each other questions. I don't know if they're assigned to do it at a certain time. But they're having fun. They're laughing. They're laying on the bed. They're talking. The question is about pet names. Jeffy is like, he not into pet names. And she tell him she would call him, it's not Big Papa, but whatever, and he says that he's not, he realizes, Jeffy is saying in his interview that he's realized that he's not totally ready to be married. I'm like, you think so, Jeffy? He said, especially when it comes to communication, he's not used to it. And I can tell I can relate because I feel like I'm very cerebral. I process stuff, I'm sort of like, I'm not like I think he's like cautious. We already know. I don't have to think. We all know he's cautious. But I can see how it's playing into this situation and I don't want to say it's playing in a bad way, but it's just creating, they're different people. It's creating some challenges and opportunities with their relationship. So when one question comes up and it's like, well, what does your wife wear or what does your partner wear where you think they're the sexiest? And Jeffy had the best answer. He says, my wife looks sexiest wearing her smile. And Shanice is just smiling. And I thought it was just very sweet. And it's like ever since I heard someplace or somehow that he's not attracted to her, I just really watch very closely to try to see, or that he was not initially attracted. But that seemed very sweet. And she definitely seemed to be feeling the feelings. We see Molly and John, and we find out that they still have not had sexual intercourse. Not only have they not had sexual intercourse, but they barely have any physical intimacy. We've talked about that. So he's decided that he's not going to talk about it because every time he brings it up, they go backwards. And I actually thought that was a good idea. And I like that he had the maturity to be processing it in that way. I only wish that he had had the maturity to stick with that. The marriage is marriage. He says that he realizes that marriage is choosing to stay instead of leave. So, I think that's kind of like an important thing, because I think when you live together with somebody for 29 years or whatever, you can leave at any time. Not to say that when you're married, you cannot leave, but it's a little more complicated to leave when you're, and I think there's like a mental thing that comes in this society with getting married that makes it more complicated to leave. Even though these folks know they're in an experiment, I think that something of the seriousness of marriage has kind of registered for them. Molly says that she is not willing to give up. They are playing cards, and they're playing some lying game where they telling the truth and some lies, and they have to figure out who's what each other. They're getting to know each other better. So communication and patience are so important. No marriage is perfect. This must be something one of the counselors was saying. Oh, no. This is what baby girl Molly was saying. She's like, communication and patience are so important. No marriage is perfect. Some people who are head over heels in love with each other started off like whatever. And I can definitely talk. I have definitely had that experience. Not exactly like that, but like getting married and being like, when I got married, I was kind of like, okay, we'll see how it goes. Like, I like you, you seem cool, okay. But then at some point in the marriage, I'm like, wow, if I had known that I was going to feel this way, I would have been chasing you down. You wouldn't have had to chase me down because I'd been chasing you down. And it was just kind of like a revelation. Like, I didn't know that I was going to feel that way. So I could see how, like, that's true. Like, your feelings can evolve and develop in the context of a relationship. And I think especially like, one time my mother's husband said to me that he thinks that men do fall in love at first sight. And I don't know, I've never fallen in love at first sight. I guess I'm just kind of cautious. So it's kind of like, I'd be like, you cool. It take me a while to warm up, even to the people that I got married to, so I could understand. Okay. So she says that, and then she says, so she is very hopeful that, she gonna start feeling him in that way. And then, they gonna have the, wonderful marriage that we all want them to have. Right? We all want them to have a wonderful marriage. We rooting for love. We here for love. We love love. So they are laughing and happy. They're on the floor of their living room. So, we've seen, one couple that's having they not together, then the other two couples are together and they laughing and they happy. And the one is on the bed. So we know they the happiest. Okay. So, I done thrown it away. Okay, so then we see Jeffy and Shanice, and they are on their first double date together. And this is seems to be Jeffy's like marriage mentor. It's who he goes to kind of process things and try to get a strategy going for how to handle his marriage. And I guess this is his friend who is married. And they talk about communication. Oh no, let me stay focused. I love Shanice's glasses in the scene. I have another pair of glasses, but I sat on them and I've been needing to take them to the optometrist for the long time because I'm afraid to twist them because I think I'll break them. But you know how they put them in the hot sand or whatever, and then they can move. So I need to do that because her glasses were so cute. And I used to have a whole bunch of cute glasses, and I don't need. So Shanice is so cute and stylish to me. I really, really like her. I'm just rooting for her. I want her to be happy. This man who is Jeffy's marriage counselor says, or, friend who's like his mentor, says that he has known Jeff for 8 years and that Jeff has never been in a relationship. Y'all, did I hear that right? If this man had not gone on Married at First Sight, he probably would have never gotten married. That is amazing to me. And he's a handsome man. He's a nice man. He got a job. I mean, he doesn't seem just like, but he got some issue. He has some issue. He got something is wrong. I mean, I don't want to say something is wrong, but why is he so closed and so distrusting? And why hasn't he been having intimate relationships with women? And to the point where he wanted love enough to go on this show. So, his heart wants it, but there's something that's just been holding him back. Something, I don't know what it is. 8 years. Jeffy, thank God. You ought to be on your knees thanking God for the opportunity to grow and develop in relationship, because it is really a blessing to be married and to have a relationship. It really is a stimulation. It helps you to grow and develop. Man, baby boy, baby. Okay, so they're having lots of laughs. It's a good, happy type situation, this double date with Jeffy and Shanice and Jeffy's friend and his wife. We're at day 33. Ryan is getting home. Jackie is all big smiles, and she says she's really nervous to talk to him. Thank you for the like. So he has, so they're talking about the situation. So he made plans with his wife, he says. Then at the last minute, a work thing came up. And then he blew off his word to his wife, who he'd made plans with. And I'm just like, Ryan, boo, that's, none of that sound good. I just wanted him to, like, if he listening, I just wanted you to hear what I said, because it's not good. Hey, Vondi Gaming, we talking about Married at First Sight. Would you ever get married at first sight? Just meet somebody at the altar and marry them? That's what this show is about. Okay, so that's what's going on. And she says that Jackie says that she notices that when he's agitated, he talks over her, he talks at her, and she's not feeling heard. And then once again, I'm like, Mr. Ryan, now we gotta get it together. And then they give us the advertisement for Love at First Sight. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, because I love to fly and travel. I love the idea where they say they just go to the airport and they don't know where they're going. They're just going. Yes, sign me up right now. I want to go. I want to go. Okay. So you do not want to have to beg someone to want to spend time with you. I mean, I don't know how Jackie feel, but I don't blame her for having problems. But they, they talk around it. He apologizes. Honestly, probably no. I think it's very courageous and bold, and it's very common throughout the world, apparently, for people to have arranged marriages. I didn't know, but he apologizes. Ryan apologizes to Jackie. They kiss. So okay, we gonna roll with you, but Ryan, we watching you, sir. Okay, so we see Molly arriving at a restaurant, and it's a meeting with the counselor. I'm gonna be going, but it could happen, right? You never know. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna be doing notes on the news feed next, so I don't know if you were like looking for that, but you're free to listen. So the wives are all getting together, all of the women who have gotten married at first sight. So the counselor has them score their marriage. Like, I want you to score your marriage from 1 to 10, 1 being boo, 10 being yay, And Molly is like 7. And in the counselor is like, well, how can we get you from a 7 to a 10? And she says that she would like for him to feel less frustrated so she could feel less pressure. I told y'all that pressure is really getting to her. And she wants the physical attraction to really click with her husband. She wants to be attracted to him. But I think he kind of getting on her nerves and rubbing her the wrong way. And, it's sort of like some people, like there are some people who they're in these relationships with people and I'm like, ew, I can't stand him. How could they even look at them, let alone kiss them or whatever? But some people are wired like that and some people aren't. I'm wired like, if I don't like you, I don't even want to eat with you, let alone, I don't want to breathe the same air as you. Ugh. If I don't like you and respect you, that's like tough for me. But some people, they could hate their partner and just be like, but the sex is good. So, different people are cut different ways. So I think Molly is cut more like me. He kind of rubbing her the wrong way. Shawnice, I was surprised because I'm thinking, oh, she's at a 7. The other 2 women are going to be like 8, 9, 10. Shawnice says she's at a 7.9, and she needs for our man Jeffy to trust her, trust that she here for him, she love him, she all in. Jackie says that she's at an 8, so everybody is basically in the same area. And she says she uncovered a lot this week. They uncovered a lot with their relationships, and that he is a lot more needing of socializing. That's basically what she's saying than she is. So, oh my God, it's a pheasant in the backyard. So him spending time with his friends and his the game he plays with the paintball, his paintball teams and all of that, probably him being at the firehouse is probably a very social experience for him. That's probably very important to him. And so she realizes that. I think that's cool for her to have the consciousness, to realize that. And that's not necessarily, how she wired. She says we have to focus on positive progress. I like she have a positive attitude. They trying to make these marriages work. Dr. Jessica says that in marriage, we do focus on the other person, and sometimes to the point where there's nothing left of you. And I think that is particularly true, tends to be true of women. I don't know if men have that experience so much, but she wants them to focus on themselves and self-care, so that they keep the resentment down. Because, when you feel like you ain't got nothing and you done gave everything, people get mad. They be mad. They jaws be tight. They be all upset. They be fussing and fighting. You didn't put the toilet down, but it's about you just feeling like, you stress about your stuff. So keeping yourself up, no one size fits all, and they all must talk about it. So communication is important because what works, each relationship, the 2 people in the relationship negotiate what's going to work for them. Can't nobody tell you what's going to work for the 2 of y'all. Y'all have to figure that out. So we see Molly getting home and John is in bed, and Molly says that she wants to talk to John about, her girls' night out. And she tells him about the scale, and John is like, well, what did you give us, a 3? And I was kind of like, us, it was her rating him or the marriage. But anyway, and I was like, oh, a 3. That's what he's thinking. He's giving it a 3. That's how I took that. And Molly is like, no, I rated my happiness in this relationship a 7. And John is like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, he rating it a 7. He not happy now. He is not happy. He is not happy about not having sexual intercourse with his wife of 4.5 weeks. He upset. And Molly is like, she's moving on, but he's still mad about that. She's like, so, and she was talking about self-care and blah, 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 blah. And John is like, trust me, you do not have a problem with taking care of yourself. Nope. He's salty. He's salty. He's salty, y'all. So, she's like, they go back and forth and she's like, so how does sacrificing my 1-hour nail appointment, that I have every week, how does that contribute to the betterment of our marriage? And John is like, saying in the interview, well, it seems like to me that I put everything that I got into this marriage and she's only putting up walls. Now, I think that I will agree with him that he really does seem, from my observation, to have really gone all in. I feel like he seems to have really committed to giving this the good college try. I give him that. And I can see how he feels like he's experiencing walls, but you don't know another person's internal experience. So it could be easy for you to, just open up and have sex, but she might be having some other type of experience, and I don't think he's able to connect with her perspective at all, because I think he's really feeling slighted and rejected and bad about the fact that they are not having sex. I think that's my ascertaination of the situation. That's what I've ascertained. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so okay, so then there's a back and forth. There's some escalation, and then he brings up sex, which we talked about just 2 minutes ago. He said he wasn't going to bring up sex no more. He bring up sex. And he's saying that he has sacrificed feeling good doing what he's used to doing and what he likes, as in sex. So if he followed her same logic, he would be out there hooking up with random chicks so that he could feel better and have sex, because that's what he wants to do and that's what he likes to do, and that's how he would take care of himself. So she out here getting her nails done, he want to be out here having sex, but he's bigger than that. He's not doing that, he says. And so, I'm just kind of looking at him like, okay. And he says it's the same logic. I think he really needs to get with, I think he really needs some additional support. And I'm not saying it's not a tough situation, because I do think it's a tough situation. I think it's a tough situation, John. And I am rooting for you. I just, Okay, so then the counselor is like, couples grow when they both try something new together. They grow as a couple. Yay, that's true, I think. Because you have that common, experience of experiencing it together. Okay, so we see Ryan and Jackie, and they're at a sip and paint type class, and she's excited that they're trying something new. His first reaction, he says, was no, but because he figured his painting isn't going to look good, but he just kind of went along with it. And then it's kind of I feel like it's probably getting worse for him, because it's a male model who shows up and he just take off. He naked. And so he's just like, oh my gosh, he don't want to look at the man's junk. He's not comfortable. He just it's not good. He just look at his wife's painting and he paint from her painting. He not going to look at the naked man up there. You're just hanging out, all just hanging out. But Jackie really appreciates that Ryan is trying. And I'm glad he didn't leave or freak out, or, he kept all of that stuff internal for the interview. And Jackie, Jackie appreciates him trying. And he says he thought that he would be walking right out as soon as he got there. That's what Ryan says. But he showed Jackie a little bit of his open-mindedness. And he did. We give him some props for that. But we still got our eye on you, sir. So and I just realized, there are other couples there. I thought it was just them. But anyway, there are other couples there, and Jackie really seems happy. So that's good. We see Molly and John arriving at a gun range to shoot guns. as a black person, I have to say that this whole thing made me feel really, really nervous. Like when they were pulling out the paper, you know, like, well, what target are we going to shoot at the people? I'm like, are they going to have like, you know, like you know, because some of these gun ranges have like fake black people or real black people, or, you know, I just was kind of like, and then I found out he was in the military, and I'm just like, you know, I want to like him, and I want to like them, but they making me nervous, and not because of the guns, but because they're white people with guns. That's just how I felt. I'm not saying everybody feel like that. But it's something Molly has agreed to do because it's something that her husband has wanted to do forever. Remember, y'all, they've only known each other for 4.5 weeks. But in the 4.5 weeks they've known each other, she knows this is something he's really excited about. And they know that they're really happiest when they're out. They're, you know, they chemistry work best when they out, when they not at home, and he mad because they not in the bedroom effing having sex. So he's glad that they're doing something finally that he can beat her at. That was all cute. And then she says, and when he's shooting, she says she really enjoys looking at his body when he's shooting, his shoulders and his back and his muscles. And she just, you know, standing back, you know, she might even be getting a little into him if he, you know, just don't mess it up, John. Just look good. We're at day 34 of the marriage, and it is the first meal that Jackie and Ryan have cooked together in their new apartment. The counselor is talking about context/purpose of the assignment, to reassure each other that they are committed to their partners and that the partners are number one and no one else. It's trust and emotional intimacy. And this is the assignment. For the next hour, they are going to exchange unlocked phones. And Jeffy is like, oh, I don't know what I have in my phone, but I do know that I'm not doing this. That's what he's saying. We like, oh my gosh. Then Molly is like, you know, oh my God, her first thought is like, holy crap, that's very invasive. And then John is like, I'm gonna let you know right now that if you dig through my phone, we are done. And I'm kind of like, huh? Because I thought that the whole point was to go through the phone. But I didn't understand the assignment. Okay, so Jackie and Ryan, they're like really, really gung-ho. They're chatting while they're looking at each other's phones and explaining, oh yeah, that's my old boss. They're like getting to know each other. They're having fun. Jackie's phone has been, you know, she says that a phone in other relationships has been a huge barrier, you know, like for the couples trusting each other and getting to know each other and feeling comfortable. Jeffy is like, you know, we have a good time and everything. Like, she cool. She ain't a total stranger or anything, but and I didn't think that, you know, this whole intimacy and marriage and trust thing would be this hard, but I feel like something like this should be organic. You know, I feel like I have already given up my space. I've given up calling this woman a stranger. You know, I'm sleeping in the bed with her. I've put my penis in her vagina. I mean, what more do I have to do? I mean, why all this pressure, you know? And he says he's not doing it. We're not there yet. You know, we not there yet. Shawnice is like, she feels like he could be her soulmate, but she's really scared that Jeffy will not get to that point to trust her. We see Jackie to trust her. And Jeffy is like, you know, he don't have anything to hide. He just don't want to be told what to do. When people start telling him what to do, then he have to resist. Shawnice is like, you know, I have nothing to hide, but whatever you got going on in your phone, you need to figure it out and you need to get right with yourself. And I'm like, yep, she's so mature, I think. I mean, because that's between him. She trying to do everything she can. What's she gonna do? And so he's like, are you mad? And they have this whole weird interaction, and she is kind of feeling bad because she want to have an intimate relationship with the man. She married, she at level this. He ain't even been in no intimate relationships in 8 years, and before that, he was a baby. So this is like, it's a lot of new things for him to absorb. He has not practiced any of these skills. He's just, he probably need like a counselor with him, like, you know, 4 or 5 hours a day or something to hold his hand and help him along the path. So So, you know, but they kind of go back and forth. And Jeffy is like, I never had to do anything like this before, so I don't think I should have to do it now. And I'm like, is he leaving? And he's leaving. And Shawnice is like, you know, I believe that, you know, what's in the dark will come to the light. You leaving? And then she get up and she slammed the bedroom door, like, bye. You know, and I feel like she right. She ain't got to force nothing. Who he is who he is, and it's going to come to light. You know, and I know her little feelings, I shouldn't call them little feelings, but her feelings have gotten hurt, and I understand that. But she right. You know, it ain't no sense in, you know, going crazy. We see her crying. You know, she cry a lot. And she says everyone is different, and she doesn't expect him to be her. She just expects them to last. And she says, you know, taking herself and leaving is not an option that she would exercise. So she's having a really hard time understanding why he doing what he doing. All she want to do is love him. But you know, he's not there. He got issues. Okay, so then we see the counselor, and the counselor is like, the point of the exercise is to communicate about trust and honesty in a relationship. It's not necessarily to go through each other's phone or through every text message and every message and all of the social media posts, but to feel confident that the partner has nothing to hide, to be transparent. And then we see Molly, and she gets the phone from John, and she's like, I don't want to go through your phone. And John feels the same way. I don't want to go through your phone. I mean, I trust you, and I trust you. And if I didn't trust you, then we got bigger issues than what's on your phone. But I just trust you. And, you know, then they are laughing and smiling and happy, and they look relaxed, and they're joking. And she thinks that they have reliance and trust in each other. And he's like, we won this exercise. So that is the end of, that's the end of that episode. So, and I've been talking I didn't know I was going to talk for a half hour. I think I had that much to say. But thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, helping to build the channel. We're working on 1,000 new subscribers. So today is the best day ever to be you. Be fabulous. Be fabulous you. I'll be right back with notes on the newsfeed because there's still some sun outside and everything. Today is the best day ever. Peace. Peace.